The constant rush to consume, post, respond, and react is a way of avoiding the discomfort of existing fully. Mental minimalism is about returning to that fullness, not by adding, but by subtracting. By reducing the noise, we rediscover the melody. By releasing excess, we make room for truth. The great Stoics taught that we should not try to possess everything, but to understand what is enough. The same applies to thought. You don't need to think about everything. You need to think deeply about what matters. When you start clearing the mind, at first, there is discomfort. The silence feels heavy. The absence of distraction feels like loss. But then, something changes. You begin to feel lighter, freer, more aware. You begin to notice details, the sound of the wind, the pattern of your breath, the subtle rhythm of time passing. What once felt empty becomes sacred. This is the paradox of mental minimalism. The less you carry, the more you perceive. And perception is everything. It shapes how we love, how we create, how we live. The human mind, when uncluttered, becomes luminous, capable of insight, creativity, and peace. But when it's crowded with noise, it turns foggy, anxious, and reactive. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That realization is the foundation of mental minimalism. Understanding that peace does not come from control, but from clarity. When you learn to choose what deserves your attention, you reclaim the most sacred resource you own. Awareness. And awareness is what transforms experience into meaning. We live in times when thinking itself feels like rebellion. Not because we lack time, but because we fear what the silence may reveal. Noise distracts us, but it also protects us. Protects us from introspection, from doubt, from truly seeing ourselves. But a life lived behind the veil of noise is not a life of freedom. It is a life of avoidance. Clarity demands courage. The courage to listen to your own thoughts, to face the stillness, to ask uncomfortable questions. Mental minimalism is not about thinking less. It's about thinking better. It's not about avoiding the world, but about engaging with it consciously. It's about quality over quantity, depth over speed. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived concentration camps, said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." And that space, small, fragile, often forgotten, is the heart of mental minimalism. It is where peace, clarity, and consciousness live. In today's world, our phones have become mirrors, reflecting not only information, but also the state of our minds. Every time we reach for them, we are often reaching away from ourselves. Each swipe, each scroll, is a tiny escape from presence, from boredom, from being. But boredom is fertile. It is the soil of creation, of reflection, of depth. Without boredom, there is no imagination. Without pause, there is no wisdom. Mental minimalism restores that fertile silence. It gives the mind permission to breathe again, to wander freely without getting lost. It is the practice of returning to presence, to the now. Everything around us screams for attention, and the more we try to keep up, the further we drift from who we are. But there is a way back, and it begins with small gestures. Silencing notifications, reading less, but with more depth. Speaking without rushing, breathing before reacting.